Yes, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. We are back for episode 2 of The Collective. Talking of collecting, we've collected a brand new person for this week with Kaz, who will be with us shortly from Never a Foul. Big up to you, Kaz, for when you get here. I'm joined again by Charlie, who's just been telling us he knew nothing about football for pre-Roman Abramovich.
No, that's not true.
Not quite what he said. Wolfie's here with his chest because Forest still aren't losing games. Puxty is here from Liverpool and got a few things to talk about with Puxty. His team are just starting to look a bit ordinary. And there's Hooks, who probably doesn't want to be talking about football, but listen, he's got to come out. He's got to do his rounds, as he said.
Yeah, man.
And then there's me, the Tamworth Slayers. We're here. We're going to win the FA Cup. It's happening, people. Please do smash the like button. Please subscribe to everyone in my show. You can see their names, and I'll put their links in as we go throughout. Look, guys, a lot to talk about today. We've got the drama of the FA Cup. There wasn't really any drama from Liverpool. They safely navigated through. So did Forest, so did Chelsea. You had the Arsenal-Man United game yesterday, which had red cards, penalties missed, a penalty shootout, and then Tottenham, who went within about 15 seconds.
Sorry, is Hooks' picture Kai Havertz after yesterday? That's mental.
It is.
That must be banter, or he's forgot to change it.
He's trolling. He's got to be trolling.
No, he's definitely trolling. There's no way that's serious.
That's jokes.
He is not trolling. I heard him say that, he's back. I can't say the lie I was going to say. Listen, and then we've got loads of games this week as well. We've got the North London Derby, which is Wednesday night. Huge game for both managers, you feel. Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Massive game. Are Nottingham Forest actually title contenders, or are they going to be knocked off their perch after another big signing today from Nottingham Forest? And Chelsea, their first win in however many games. Guys, where to start? Let's start with, I think we've got to start with the obvious, right? We can't start with Man United Arsenal because I need Kaz to be here for this and for Hooks and Kaz to have their chat. I want to talk just quickly the reverse of last week. I want to talk about my club just for a little bit. And we didn't really do a lot on Tottenham last week. And I feel like I deserve to have the piss taken out of me completely and utterly. Guys, I'm guessing you all watched it. Tottenham played the lowest ranked team in the FA Cup. We went to their ground. It was like a shed. And we didn't manage to score a goal past them for 96 minutes of normal time. And then a further 5, 6, 7 minutes of extra time. What did you guys make of it? And what do you think about Tottenham in general?
Let's be honest, that's the worst fixture of the round. I know my team went out, but boy, needing extra time and all your big hitters to come on to beat Tamworth that are in non-league football is absolutely diabolical. I won't lie. I watched parts of the game, and it just seemed like Tamworth were doing what Tamworth were always gonna do, just make it difficult for the Premier League team. And I don't know, man. You guys. How do you feel about it? Because if I was a Tottenham, God forbid, if I was a Tottenham fan, I would be hanging my head in the most amount of shame that's ever existed in the world.
Mate, you got plumbers doing like pirouettes against Premier League footballers. Like, bro, if that was me, those two players that got done by that, time to retire, hang the boots up, pirouette by a plumber. That's mad.
He's 34 as well, so he's not like a spring chicken or anything. Do you know
Plumber in his mid-30s doing a pirouette against Spurs, man of the match, and two players got taken out by it. Now, whoever those two players were, that's time for them to hang their heads in shame. They got to retire.
They nearly scored from a throw-in, like actually throwing the ball. From the throw-in, it was crazy.
You know what's mental, right? Like, I watched Timo Werner, and somehow he won the Champions League with us, right? He goes to Spurs. The guy's the worst player on the pitch against people that work in Zara. Like, how is that even a thing? how is that possible, Savva?
I mean,
isn't Zara a good brand? Is your issue?
But you know what I mean, though? But what I'm saying is, if you're £100 and odd £1,000 a week player, right, a guy that's doing shift work in Zara you should probably be a bit better than him.
Why didn't you leave him at Tamworth? Like he looked. I mean, no disrespect to Tamworth, but he could get maybe on their subs bench.
Who are we talking about? Werner.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, look, we're going to talk about a little bit about Havertz later, because all I've been asked from people over the last 24 hours is who's worse, Werner or Havertz? By the way, the answer is Timo Werner by a country mile.
Both won Champions League at my team. You know,
sure.
Yeah, I think that was more down to Tuchel, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
how you won the Champions
League?
He deserves Werner, and who was the other one?
It was Mount Werner and Havertz as the front three on the Champions League. That deserves a knighthood.
It does against Man City as well. You know, I think that was an amazing result.
Hey, just remember who scored you the goal that won you the Champions League in it.
That's true.
Yep. I mean, we got 65 mil for him. Fantastic.
Well, look. First of all, welcome, Kaz. Because in a minute, I can stop hearing about Tottenham Tamworth and move to the Man United Arsenal.
Is that it? Is that it?
No, not yet. No, you can all roast. Listen, you can all roast me, but I feel like you guys roasting me, you won't enjoy it as much as if you roast a fan who's a bit deluded, right? I'm fully in agreement that yesterday is arguably the worst result I've seen since I've been alive. Arguably. Now people go, well, what do you mean you won? But we had to go to extra time against the lowest ranked team in the FA Cup, and their winger made Pedro Porro look like he'd never played as right back before. Their winger was taking him on for fun, and then they nearly scored. In the last 30 seconds, I'm thinking, he's going to score. And luckily, he didn't quite connect with a shot, the guy. But guys, how embarrassed should I? I'm embarrassed. I've got Spurs fans in their hundreds coming into my YouTube comments going, "You're not a real fan." Just
but are there people genuinely backing yesterday? Are there people actually that are genuinely saying there's not an issue?
Genuinely, people.
That's insanity, isn't it?
People saying to me, "Well, we had to be patient. We got the job done. That's all that matters." And I'm looking at this going, "Hang on, they're part-time. And they didn't look out of their depth. Their centre-halves dealt with everything we threw at them. Yeah, their wingers got the better of us. I'm genuinely embarrassed, guys, that Tottenham are through to the next round. That's just how I feel."
Who did you get?
We've got Villa away.
You're going out anyway, so it don't matter, does it?
Well, we've had a good record against Villa lately.
Didn't you score 4 there the other year? Was it last season? You beat them 4 something.
We scored 4 there last season.
Yeah.
4 this season against them at our ground.
Yeah, fair.
But we tend to get up for big games. I mean, Kaz will know we've beaten them twice this year. Liverpool, we beat you the other night. All right, we haven't beaten Arsenal yet. Chelsea, we didn't beat, and Nottingham Forest, we didn't. But I'm not saying Forest are a big game. But I don't think it's the worst draw in the world for Villa. Do any of you think Spurs are going to win the FA Cup?
No.
No.
Well, that was a good discussion, wasn't it? Well done. There you go, Spurs fans. We're going to win the cup. We're going to win the cup.
But are there Spurs fans that actually think Spurs are going to win the FA Cup?
I mean, you've got Spurs
actually, it's all about luck of the. It's actually that's probably
it's luck of the draw as well. To be fair,
luck of the draw, mate. Like you beat Villa. Like, let's face it. You go beat Villa. West Ham were in control for a lot of that match. I wouldn't put West Ham above Spurs. So on that notice, let's say next round you go get someone that's done quite well in League One or Championship. Let's say, then yeah, like you might face yourself in a semi-final potentially. You never know. You never know.
It's possible to go far if you get these. Because you can get 3 or 4 decent draws on the spin. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
favourable.
Yeah. But guys, my worry isn't facing Aston Villa in the next round. I know that sounds silly. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not saying we'll definitely win. My worry is what happens when Spurs get, I don't know, Bristol City away. Like that. That's genuinely my worry, that we can't seem to put a string of wins together. This year, I'll ask the panel, do you know how many times we've won 2 Premier League games in a row?
1, maybe? None.
Would it been back at Everton, maybe Everton, and then did you lose them?
0. It was you lot, Kaz. It was once. It was you lot and Brentford. Yeah. Since then, we can't win 2 Premier League games in a row, and this manager's being announced as the greatest thing that's ever walked the earth. I want to know, before we move on to Arsenal and Man United from yesterday, What do you guys, I'm not going to give my opinion. Everyone in my chat knows of my opinion on this. What do you guys actually make of Ange as a manager, his tactics, the way he comes across? What do you make of Ange Postecoglou?
Oh,
Who wants to start with him?
Where do I start? Do you know what? Yeah, I won't take it all. I'll just tell you the thing that annoys me the most about Ange. Outside of the fact that I don't think he can tactically adapt during games. But the thing that actually annoys me the most is when a result doesn't go his way, yeah, why does he never look at the camera? Like, he's never looking at the fans when he's always
he's embarrassed.
Humble, man. Stay humble.
Man,
He's embarrassed.
He's got no confidence. This is your leader, a guy that can't even look into the camera and address his fans, yeah? When something doesn't go, he's weird. Like, and he says a lot of weird things. I think him saying, you know, I always win trophies in my second season, I thought it was a bit of a weird thing to say. Like, I don't know. I don't like him personally. And it's not even because I'm an Arsenal fan. It's literally because I just don't think that he's the right type of leader of men, especially like you've got pretty young players in your team. I don't think he necessarily sets the right example. So yeah, I would say that for me is by and this high line as well. He needs to learn another way to play. But outside of that, you know,
I'll slightly defend him, right? As
I'll
an outsider
look
looking
like
in.
yeah.
Apart from him being good looking, right?
You'll be out of body. You'll be out of body double work if you slag him off.
Honestly, the day he goes, oh my god, my life becomes so much easier. No, but as an outsider looking in, right, someone who doesn't really care what you lot do, he is entertaining to listen to in his interviews. It's also, your games are more entertaining to watch as a neutral than they used to be. Under Conte, I would watch Spurs games whenever I had insomnia or I needed to get to sleep because I had an early day. Right. So in that perspective, I don't mind it because it's got nothing to do with me. If he was my manager and I was seeing what I was seeing, it would infuriate me. There's two perspectives to this as far as I'm concerned. Well, probably three, because there'll be two perspectives within the Spurs fan base. But he's like Mourinho without the trophies backing him, or without the tactics backing him. You know what I'm saying? Mourinho is still the best speaker we ever saw in the Premier League. Those interviews are still replayed to this day. He's not at that level, but at least there's, you know, but sometimes I do wonder, does he just play up to the media knowing he's going to get clipped up and he's going to be plastered everywhere? Because he clearly watches it, because he talked about the whole, you guys are trolling me for saying second season trophy and what have you. How does he know? He's watching himself. So there's a little arrogance about him. But yeah, if he was my manager, no thanks.
I just don't understand why there's no adaptability at all.
Yeah.
Like, because let's be honest, right? He's not stupid. You know, you're not stupid to get into that position in football. Like, he's obviously had to show a little bit about him, you know, in previous jobs, and to actually get into a position to be a manager. Like, it's fine to have a style of play, a principle of play, right? But it doesn't have to be one way and that's it. You know, it is okay to adapt. It is okay to, you know, switch things up in game. It's okay to make different, you know, it's okay to have a different approach for a different game. Do you remember like when certain, you know, teams would play in a different way, right? And then they'll go to like Barcelona away or something back in the day in the new camp, and they'd literally abandon all principles that they've had all season and just play a completely different way. Like, it is okay to switch things up every now and then. You know, you don't have to literally stick with the same thing every time, and it will end up costing him his job, because, you know, when you watch some Spurs games and you think, how on earth is he allowing them to continue to play like that when it's so obvious that you've got to play in a different way? Like, how many times you have to get?
You mean like when you're 5-1 down to Liverpool and you're still just saying, "Come on, come through"?
I'd say it's the opposite. When you're 3-0 up against United in the cup match and you don't lock up shop, that for me would be more infuriating.
Yeah.
The 5-1, you could argue, all right, we've lost the game. Let's see, you know, can we throw the kitchen sink and see what happens? It's when you were 3-0 up against United, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Lock it up. Like, how many goals is enough? That's the one for me. That's the one. When you're winning, it's strange.
Is it my turn?
Do you know where he was before Celtic?
He was in Japan, wasn't he?
He was in Japan, wasn't he?
and he was Australian national team manager as well.
So he's never really come up against great opposition. And if he's had the top team in each of them countries, like he did it in Scotland, for example, it was fine doing his tactics now up there because Celtic have the best team and have done for the last few years. So it was quite easy for him to do it there. But I think, I agree with Charlie completely. And the fact that he doesn't adapt to any defensive sort of situation and he says no to set pieces and like training and things like that, I just think it's ridiculous. You've got to be adapted to be a good manager. And I do think, and I said to you the other day, that if it carries on like this, you will get your wish. He'll be gone at the end of the season.
Mate, that's not my wish. My wish is I want him gone by the end of the show. I wanted him.
Well, that would be nice, but at least he'd be gone.
I find it highly embarrassing. Let me ask Kaz, because Kaz is never shy in coming forward. I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he's playing FIFA or something there. I've no idea what he's.
No. Sorry, no. I just exited something I just worked hard on, man, and I didn't save it. I didn't save it.
Talk to me.
So don't attack me. Yeah, first and foremost, unless you want a rowdy conversation. I wouldn't sack Ange at all. My problem is some of the Spurs fan base. Ange deserves some critics as well, and so does a bit of everything. See, the thing is with Spurs, I find is you keep replacing managers 18 months after 18 months, and this is going to be why I would keep Ange personally. Is because if you allow him in the end to get a group of players, at least you've got a certain style of player. I don't believe all the players like Werner, and you can use a lot of other players as a reference to what he really wants. But at the same time, you're always going to have a different manager that wants a different preference of player, and it's just going to be all messed up in the end. I'm not saying that should be an excuse again. The same way with Eddie Howe, as we're also praising him now, is the same way, is because he's had all of his players back from injury at least, and whatnot, like Tonali's back from suspension, or Botman's back and now look at their defense, or so forth and so forth. And I think for me, that's huge, because if you lose your let's say your best two centre backs and also your goalkeeper, you are going to concede a lot of goals. Now, in terms of changing style, if I said if he changes his style and tried to mix things up, he actually has, if you look at him with a pivot now rather than one, and it's kind of building a little bit of a base, but it's not the greatest in the end, in my opinion. I want my team to have at least one way of playing, at least, because I haven't. I tried to even give Ten Hag the benefit of the doubt in terms of changing stuff up, and then it didn't work out. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I wouldn't get rid of Ange straight away. And you know what it is? You're not going to, you could win a Carabao, whoop-de-doo, but for Tottenham, it might be a little bit different. I think you need to win it. I think you can go to Anfield and change certain minds and ways. You've got to. Even before you go through. So, but for me, again, it's like, if you do end up supplying them with extra bodies that you may need, look at what he's doing with some of the youngsters. They are improving as well, like the ones that you have bought in. And I've been looked at thinking, I looked at Bergvall. And Bergvall is now looking like, I thought he was a right winger. Oh my God, he's playing in a 6 and an 8, and he looks mint. Do you know what I mean? Archie Gray's getting a lot of game time. I think there's a good one set. I know you wanna go, but it's just like, I think there's a base, and I think you should, because you're not winning the Prem, even if you get Europe or not or whatever. There's something I can see with Ange that looks successful when he does have his full 11, and he is playing what you said, United, even Liverpool recently, or whatever big club. There is something there for me. You do score goals. So I wouldn't sack him yet, but obviously you lot watch him week in, week out.
But you could argue that even with all the players available, they've still played shit when everyone's fit as well.
Right. Charlie, this is my point, right? This is where this narrative of we're only struggling because players are out injured. We've just had our worst calendar year in 20 years, right? Our worst calendar year in 20 years. And the last 15 months, right? It's getting worse and worse and worse, right? Now, if I show you this, Kaz, right? So before people, let me get rid of that banner so you'll be able to see this. Like, look at this. If we're talking about getting his players back, look at the state of that. 1.20 points per game this season, right? That is absolutely ridiculous. That is the worst we've been for 27 seasons. By the way, the the stats and the data show that with Van der Ven and Romero and without Van der Ven and Romero is basically the same in terms of win ratios. So this whole narrative that when we've got our players fit, we were doing better with Van der Ven and Romero and Bentancur and Vicario, right? We had our worst start to a Premier League season after 12 games for 20 years. So it's the injuries are almost, and what you said there, Kaz, about the young players nurturing, those young players are only playing because we've got injuries. He was not giving any of them a game before the injuries. He was not trying to blood any of them in. He has never played Archie Gray at centre midfield, even though he's a central midfield. Bergval's only getting minutes now because players are out injured. I just don't understand. It's the worst we've been for 27 years, and I'm told that I've got to like him and keep him. I just think he's a PE teacher.
It sounds like he's a blagger.
I think he is a blagger. The problem is, Puxty, when we win big, right?
Yeah.
When we win, we win big. And people go, see, if we just do that every week. But the problem is you don't do that every week. No one, Man City in their peak, don't win every game 4 or 5-0. You have to have the games where you're grinding out 1-0s, 2-1s, right? But the problem is he's lost more games in a calendar year than any other Spurs manager for 27 years, right? His points per game is down on every other manager. And then we've got some of the cult members, that's what I call them, some of the cult members, right? Saying we can twist and turn the data. 15 months isn't twisting data. 15 months is me going, that's a huge sample size, 15 months. When people
27
say
years is even bigger.
But when this is the thing that kills me is these fans, and these are fans, by the way, that have followed him over from Celtic and Australia. You can tell the ones that support Spurs and the ones that don't really. No offense, Chris. Well, actually, offense. Take it how you want, right? But when people say we're still in all the cups, well, yes, because so far it's near on impossible to have been knocked out of the Europa League, right? At this stage, the group stage hasn't even finished, right? We've played Tamworth in the FA Cup. So, yes, we should still be bloody in the FA Cup. What they mean to say is we're having a good run in the League Cup where we've beaten City, United, and now we're in with Liverpool. That's what these people mean to say, that these 3 games are keeping this manager in a job because we are bottom half of the table, gentlemen, right? This is no word of a lie, right? This is the Premier League table, okay? This is the Premier League table. I'm sure you've all seen it, right? I have to scroll down to get Tottenham in. Tottenham have got 24 points from 20 games.
We've lost half your games.
And we've lost half our games. And these fans are telling me, just be patient. It's coming. Well, on what evidence? He's lost. Look above us. Fulham and Brighton have lost 4 games. This manager's lost 10.
I'm impressed you got Spurs in that. United in that screenshot, man.
But they sacked their manager because they were having a bad time.
If you get some reinforcements in January, how much difference do you think that's going to make? I've seen that you lot are trying to get Kolo Muani. If that happened, I know you're probably going to choose Juventus over you potentially. But if you were able to get Kolo Muani, does that make much of a difference or not really?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's the defense they need to sort out.
Why are you getting another attacker? I don't get that one.
It's not even that.
Attacking reinforcements.
Are horrible. We've got Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner, 2 of the worst footballers I've seen. That's fair. And we've got Richarlison, who's never fit, but not very good anyway. The Son's falling off a cliff. But
he's got a new contract though.
Well, it's not a new contract per se. They triggered his extension. But the thing is, I'll say to you guys before we move on from Spurs is I keep hearing, don't worry, it's getting better. And there's evidence that we're getting better. I can't find it anywhere. I just can't find it anywhere. And if we lose or don't beat your lot hooks tomorrow, Wednesday, right? If West Ham win, they've got Fulham at home. And if Man United win, they've got Southampton at home. Spurs will be 14th and could be level on points with Crystal Palace, who are 15th. And we've got fans in our fan base that think that's acceptable.
Savva, is there anything that you would see in him to make you reassess? So if he started to play with tactics, if he started to, put players in their right position, whatever it is Is there anything within there that would make you change your mind on him?
Form. Go on a run of games in the Premier League where we don't lose for 10 games. Go on a run where, we win 6, draw 4. Go on a run of games where we actually start pushing up the table. And I don't mean into 9th or 10th, but start getting back towards where Bournemouth are, who are 9 points clear of us, right? We're 9 points, Wolfie, off of Conference League qualification with 18 games left to go. Right?
But so if he did that, continuing with his current style of play, would you accept it?
But it won't. If he continues with his current style of play, he won't do that, Wolfie, because the last 15 months have shown that style of play will either be brilliant or shit. There's no middle ground. There's no teams know how to open us up.
Know, but if he did that run at the start of last season where he went, 8 dubs in a row, 8 out of 10, whatever it was, if he was to just have that run now in the current style he's doing, is that acceptable to you?
Sure. If he gets 8 wins and 2 draws from his next 10 games, sure. I'll eat this hat.
Never happening.
I just want to show that you can be fair about it. You know what I'm saying? That if
Wolfie, I've said the same thing all along, mate. Listen, I'm a normal football fan. I'm seeing my team do badly for well over a year. I'm not happy. So when fans are telling me to be happy, that makes me question, why don't you want our club to be better? Right? I'm the negative one for wanting better, but they're happy. Look, like this guy, he's happy with where we are. Right? This guy's happy with where we are. He's saying because of the way the year ended, 15 months, guys. So that last stat before I move on, right? So over the last 2 seasons, there's only been 17 clubs that have been constants in the Premier League, right? So obviously the 3 teams that got promoted and the 3 teams that got relegated haven't been in both. So there's been 17 teams. Over the last 30 games, where do you think Tottenham are of those 17 teams in that form table for 30 games?
17th, 16th, 15th. Yes.
It's
relegation form.
Teams.
Yeah.
Sorry, am
Who are the 2 worst teams out of interest? Who's the 2 worst teams?
I think it was Everton by about a point. And the other one it wasn't even West Ham. West Ham were above us. West Ham were above us. There was one other, but it was sent to me yesterday.
Probably.
It probably someone like Wolves. But guys, am I being dramatic or is that dreadful?
No, I think it's, that
is embarrassing.
I think you're fully justified because, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see Tottenham doing bad, but what I'm thinking is what do the more positive fans say if Liverpool knock you out and you're no longer in a Carabao Cup semi-final?
Yeah.
What happens?
You can't say that, Nick.
What happens if then Aston Villa knock you out of the FA Cup? What then? Because you're a 12-point swing off of 4th. That's crazy. So you would need a team to lose 4 games before you can even dream of getting anywhere near 4th. And I just don't think that's likely. So your season, if you go out of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, all due respect, I don't think you're winning the Europa League. It's over. So then what do you do as a fan? You're literally watching for pain.
Hooks, you could say the same thing about your boys. What happens when you go out of the Carabao Cup and you're out the FA Cup?
Let's shift it to Arsenal, Man United.
No, I disagree. I disagree, man. I think it's painful at the moment, but I think it should be seen through regardless. I just don't subscribe to getting a manager every 18 months, changing players every 18 months. Then you look at the process of what players are coming through. I just don't look at Ange.
Why does getting a new manager? Why does getting a new manager automatically mean you've got to get a whole new set of players?
Because it depends on your style and philosophy and all that stuff. But you've gone from defensive managers in Nuno, who's doing well now at the moment, and then obviously you've gone from Jose Mourinho. You've also gone through Conte, defensive managers. You've gone through losing Kane as well in respect, and obviously Ange done quite well there. I don't. I think you get a new manager, whether it's Thomas Frank or the Bournemouth manager. I don't think it really matters who you get In 18 months' time, it's going to be another conversation, another get him out, and another thing that's so wrong with him. Look, you watch him week in, week out, and so does your watchers. You know more than me, of course you do. But from the outside looking in, if you just want my opinion, obviously, I just feel like when I watch these games, personally, I don't look at Ange as the overall thing that's just going wrong at the moment. Sometimes players need to take accountability. Sometimes players are just not even good enough. Again, you just mentioned a couple of attackers. Yes, one of them is his attacker, and the other one, like Werner, he got him on loan and stuff. But I feel like if the club supplied him some better and actual footballers and actual good players, and he didn't have a situation where whether he got injuries or not, I just feel like the situation would become better. It's just, I just feel like you need to back the manager a little bit more.
Why
I think you should see out. The thing is, Fulham have had Fulham's had amazing recruitment in the last few years, right? Marco Silva is playing a certain sort of way. Let's be real. The pressure of Fulham and the pressure of Tottenham is night and day, a massive gap. And I don't know. Look, you're inclined to obviously feel how you want to do about your club in it. I'm not here to police the way you should be in it, but this is just how I'm coming across a little bit. I would see it out and see if you can get someone through January.
What does that mean, though, Kaz? Like, I heard this when I said a year ago that this manager's shit and was doing awful. I was told, see what the next 3 months do. Yeah, that was shit. Then it was see it out to the end of the season. That was shit. Then it was let's see what he does first half of this season. That's been shit. At what stage? I get that people don't want to sack managers every 18 months. But does that mean you just employ someone if they're doing a shit job just because you don't want to sack people?
Like I said, you view your club differently. You see all the press conferences. You see everything more than me, right? And then maybe another fan would feel a different way. It's just so what you feel is crap. Another person may not view it that way. They might. Do you know what I mean? So
sure, but don't the results?
I think both things can be right, but yeah, I think the league table is horrendous. I think some results could be better, and I would blame players. The start of the season, Newcastle should be battering them, Leicester should be battering them. I don't put that on the manager, I put that on the players and whatnot. A lot of these games, I do put on some of these players. You battered Newcastle at their
game. Have you seen how wide we are? Yeah, but again, Kaz, this is the thing. When we're going to use terms like battered, if you actually see how many chances we had against Newcastle, when we're saying we battered them, we didn't.
I feel like you should have won that game, innit? And they hit you how they hit Arsenal. So
I'm not saying we shouldn't, but the thing is, Kaz, this is the thing now, right? Football fans seem so fixated on chances at one end. We've got to be set up to defend. In all these games you're talking about, we're not set up to cope with other teams counter-attacking us. Yeah, they counter-attacked us. Leicester City counter-attacked us. Arsenal. When Arteta set up when he came to Spurs, didn't allow us to play. They kept trying to counterattack us and then scored from a corner. Football's not just about if you've got better attackers.
There's 2 points I disagree with you on, right? I don't think him finishing 5th last year was shit, because I think anywhere between 4th and 6th for Spurs would be where I would expect you guys to be.
Especially with all the injuries as well.
I didn't say that bit was shit, though. I didn't say that bit was shit.
Wolfie. You did when you said last 3 months. They told me wait 3 months till the end of the season. It was shit.
But the form, Wolfie.
About the football, though.
Yeah, I know. But if you look at the end picture, I mean, you know, we beat Liverpool 1-0. That's all it will ever say. But they played us off the park for most of that game. Like at the end picture there, 5th is respectable for where Spurs should have finished. Agree. Now, if I was you, my argument would be, okay, well, we've dropped from 5th. I want to see progression or sustainability of it. That for me is your better argument. You're now 13th. The likelihood of you matching what you did last year is unlikely. But I think it's harsh to say 5th was shit last year.
No. But Wolfie, you've not listened. Sorry, no. I didn't say 5th was shit last year. The problem is he had an amazing 10-game start, which kept us in the top 4 for most of the season. We came out the blocks firing. I was going on shows with people like you, Kaz.
Title talk.
Right, people were talking about titles. The problem was
in September.
Let me show you something then, guys. The last thing, because I don't want to speak about Spurs for this long. The last thing I want to show you is this.
All we got to do is just pull the pin out, chuck the grenade.
Here you go. Look at this, right? Look at this. If anyone wants to talk to me about how I'm being harsh, have a look there. So in his first season, look, his first half of the season was 1.89 points per game. The second half was 1.58. right? The first half of this season was 1.26, which has now gone down to 1.20. So every 19 games under Ange, we're getting worse and worse and worse. So my counter argument to you, Wolfie, isn't, we finished 5th, which is where I said we would last year. Where's the progression?
That's what I'm saying. If you compare where you are now to where you finished, I get that argument. But even that second half season, you're talking about the difference being 2 wins over 2 L's. So I think the stronger argument is, where are you now compared to where you were finishing last season?
You know why I don't like this argument? Oh, sorry. Did you want to?
Well, I just wanted to ask Savva a question. Like, for me, you've beat us 1-0 in the first leg of the League Cup. I've got no worries that we're still getting to the final, because I think we're still going to batter you at Anfield. What are your thoughts going into that game? Do you think you could get a draw?
Mate, I don't know, because I don't know what this manager's ever going to do, mate. I genuinely,
isn't it?
My big worry is when Van der Ven and Romero come back, this is what a lot of people again are overlooking. When he has Van der Ven and Romero, he tends to go more gung-ho than when he's actually got a makeshift back line out there. So when Van der Ven and Romero play, we seem to go back and adopt that massively high line that people expose for fun. My worry is that they're both back fit a week before we go to Anfield. And when I say fit, I mean fit, not match fit. My worry is we put them straight back in like we did
against Chelsea. Yeah,
like we did against Charlie's boys. And then they're both going to look rickety, both look a bit tired. We get caught out, and then people will go, oh, but Ange had it. Look, at the end of the day, I've never seen a manager progress like this before. I've never seen it.
My counter against that, again, is it's a bit like when Arsenal fans like to compare their season in terms of how many points, not you, Hooks, in terms of how many points they had last season and this season. But I could say a lot of the top teams have dropped off this year. Chelsea, the one that's come up, Liverpool making the most of the situation. And again, I think injuries is allowed as an excuse, whether you want to put in the players or not, whether you miss them or not. I think you'd be a lot more better points off, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like, for me, it's more a lot of the average sides that you would call average, or now like Bournemouth now, are just also a lot better and a lot more in tune as well. And you'd argue, and coach, but I would say again, I'm not sitting here saying Ange isn't a problem. I believe there's a good reason as well. Whatever's happening in training is getting these players injured as well. And it reminds me of Ten Hag and his methods. And I might say there might be something somewhat similar, and it needs to be addressed. And that's a huge issue, and that's on him if that's the case. But at the same time, you know, it's a difficult one to tell. But I personally would see the cups through, especially because I wouldn't want to see, you know, like another Jose Mourinho situation if I was a Spurs fan, where you just sack him on a final in case you did get through. Because at least if you end, it would be bittersweet. You know what I mean? If it is to be the case, and you're like, you know what? We got a bit like Ten Hag, you know, he shouldn't have stayed as long as he did. And I'm pretty sure you might be in the same boat as well. Like, you won us a trophy, whoop-de-doo, but it's not where we need to be. Move on, go to the next best thing. The squad might be hungry for more. Again, I think both things are right.
I've said this man ain't going anywhere, right? Just because I want him out, I've acknowledged I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I've just never seen a man do so bad, get so much love. Years gone by, all the managers we've sacked.
Quick point.
Yeah, just 1 second, Wolfie.
Go on.
All the managers we've sacked over the years, this guy's done the worst, and yet gets the most backing from fans. I've never seen a manager so tactically clueless in games. Like, every now and then, like when we beat Liverpool the other night, people go, oh my God, look at Spurs. But the 4 or 5 games before that where we couldn't win a game and we're getting busted up by Bournemouth, right? You know what I mean? When teams like Bournemouth are beating us easily, you know, and should have scored about 8 or 9 goals. No one says, look how bad he is.
Imagine, right? Imagine if this was Jose, Conte, or Nuno that was doing this, and imagine the difference in what people would be saying. Just because Ange's, you know, got a bit of a personality, he says a few nice things in the media, he gets a pass. If this was Jose, Conte, or Nuno doing the exact same results, these guys would be getting hounded out of the club by the entire fan base. So why is it different just because he says mate a few times and says a few nice things and he's got a few decent results? They also picked up.
Charlie, look what they were sacked for.
No,
Look what they were sacked for. Look.
And no one can argue that those managers shouldn't have gone. So then why does
but you know what
get
it is, Charlie, though? I call it a mentality thing as well at the same time.
Yeah, true. It's mentality issue.
Each one of these managers, this content, I always talk about mentality. I always look at the players, not all of them, by the way, but still a good group of them who've been around for a little while as well. Yeah, we'll talk about this. The man wants to install mentality, like in terms of talking about cups and trophies and getting there and whatnot. But as soon as the first hurdle come about, these players want to down tool a little bit. So that's why I like the first time we talk about Tottenham, we always cuss Tottenham about cups mentality. But when one wants to show that, whether it's Mourinho, Conte, let alone Ange, it's like fuck me, like. Let's implode. Let's go get a new manager who's never won shit like Thomas Frank and whatnot. Whoop-de-doo, we better because we're playing some decent football and we're in around 6th or 5th. That's my point.
So
it's like
you just keep losing.
In my opinion, a lot of this group of players are not that good. Your squad is basically an 11 and with some few like youngsters and that you also have admitted. I think I'm wrong on that part. He didn't use them and he should have used them. I concede that part, but I don't know. I think a lot of these players. I think a lot of this needs addressing as well.
It's going to make a bigger difference, right?
So Bournemouth got a better squad. Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, have all of these clubs got a better squad than Spurs?
Yeah, but when it comes to sustain,
or are they better coached? Are they better coached than we are?
Well, I like this. I think they're better drilled. I think that's a better way because you know what? No offense, Wolfie. Yeah, as well. You play counter-attacking football. Yeah, Fulham play more time than less. Sometimes they don't. Actually, not even all the time. Forest don't. If you really want to look at and how they play in games, but a lot of the time with the big results, it comes to counter-attacking football. How many times when we talk about a big club, when it does come to the so-called big six and whatnot, when a big club decide they want to play counter-attacking football, we always say it's not sustainable. Go and coach and go and expand and play a certain way. But when we want to play a certain way and you don't exactly have the right tools, whether you got Werner or myself with Garnacho and whatnot, and however you want to oversee it, is at the end of the day, these tools are whack. We needed more tools or better tools at that. So then I look towards the ownership a little bit more, like maybe the Glazers or Ineos or maybe View for Levy and whatnot, or right now Kroenke, and you think like, you've gave me crap. At the end of the day, you've given me crap after a first good window or two in terms of January, the winter, and the first season of Ange, compared with Maddison and whatnot, compared to that one. That window was simply arse and cheeks. It was not good. And that's what I'm more built.
So then maybe I'm wrong then. I'm wrong.
No.
15 months of form. We're crap. We're regressing. We're losing week in, week out. But I'm wrong. And this manager's brilliant. And I'm the only one that can't see it.
I think your squad is crap. That's as simple as that. It's not good.
I think the biggest issue is the fact that, like, consistently, but it doesn't seem to matter who the manager is. Spurs don't back them in the transfer window. Look what happened.
They do, Charlie. They do back them.
Look what happened at the Pochettino.
No, they back them. They're just not good signings.
We went 2 windows without signing anyone after going really close. You could have actually won some stuff potentially if you'd backed him then. You didn't back him. You look at Jose didn't get him backed. Conte, he got a few players. Ange is obviously lying when he said he was happy with the squad. He's not happy with the squad. He's now saying 6 months later you need more players. So I get it.
Charlie, look what those good coaches
Good coaches do make a difference. Yeah, they do. But what I'm saying is though, like, until Levy changes and the ownership actually invest properly and give, better players and what managers need, are you surely not just going to have the same problems whoever the manager is? I get it. You're going to there'll be better coaching and they might be able to get more out of the players. But at the end of the day, surely until the ownership start backing the gaffer and maybe do a bit more investment and recruitment, you're not going to have the same problems.
Charlie, we're conflating two arguments. We're conflating two arguments here. When Spurs, I know you're not a Spurs fan, but when Spurs fans do this, there's one argument over here of, has Daniel Levy backed anybody to the point where we should be winning Premier League titles and Champions Leagues? No, he hasn't. We know that. But there's another argument over here that says this manager is 12th, regressing every 6 months,
he is,
losing more games than any other manager has at Spurs. And that needs to be, addressed. So for me, before we talk about titles and backing a manager to the point of winning stuff massively, surely you get a competent manager that when you're 3-1 down at half-time to Liverpool doesn't say, do you know what, guys? Go out and play the exact same way in the second half.
No, that's crap.
You look yesterday, Charlie. You look yesterday, right? This really frustrates me, right? You look yesterday. Tottenham couldn't score a goal against Tamworth, who was 16th in the National League, right? You've got a 19-year-old striker and Will Lancashire sitting on the bench who started a game earlier in the season away to Galatasaray.
Didn't he score in it as well?
And he scored in it and got sent off, right? But you're sitting there, you're not winning the game, and you're thinking to your manager, right, get another centre forward on. Nope, don't want to do that. Go long ball. Get some balls into the box. Whip cross, don't want to do that. I'm just going to do the same thing for 90 minutes, whether it's working or not. And that's the difference for me, Charlie. Before we're going to talk about, do we want to do what bloody Liverpool and City's doing?
I agree, mate. I agree.
I want a coach. I want someone who can coach for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
I think for me, we could say, go on, Cooks. Go on, my man.
I was going to say, I think the bad squad is a cop out, really, because I think a lot of the reason why you're having to field the current team that you have to field now is down to the way that Ange plays. Like, it's sort of like, it's very taxing on the body, like how Klopp's, old way of playing used to be. I mean, the only difference is Klopp actually won silverware, so it wasn't so bad, right? But I don't know, man. I just think that he's out of his depth. Like, for him to not even acknowledge really simple things like, hey, okay, maybe I don't have, the best set of players to play the way I want to play. Let me make minor tweaks, and not force the players to adopt this severely taxing on the body style of play. You know what I mean? Like, for me, you have to look at the man. We can all look at Levy. Like, I think it's a problem. Levy's a problem, but my problem with Levy is that I can be, sitting by White Hart Lane Station and he's just calmly walking through the back alleys of Tottenham or talking on his phone, and there's no Tottenham fans there trying to call him out or anything. He's like, he owns Tottenham. Like, so he's never going anywhere. He's comfy in his hometown. He's not going anywhere. So what Spurs fans kind of have to do is what I think Arsenal fans sort of need to start thinking about what they're going to do now is put pressure on them. Protest you
won't care. Protest don't work.
Way.
In today's day, protests don't work. I'm telling you now, protests don't work. For the club who protests probably the most out of all clubs here put together, trust me, it does not work. And especially if you're going to talk about Levy, who's more stubborn or as stubborn as what we got in charge, instead of, well, not Ineos as much as the other, it's not happening. The way you want to properly protest is stop going to games, walk out in a certain minute, and let the TV have all the view of how empty the seats are. But no, when we talk about like these Man United fans, I'm going to hold myself accountable in terms of my own fans. We'll go to the game, they'll shout Glazers out. Guess what? You're going into the stadium, you're buying beers at halftime or whatever you want to get, and you're funding it. Because you lot are a bunch of melts. You're all the same. You're going against what you protested in the first place. You can shut down a club shop. Oh, whoop-de-doo, it open tomorrow. So anyways, on that notice, I've seen these Spurs protests. About 90 people, 45 people, if I remember correct, is protest. What's that going to do? So I'm telling you now, because we're in 2025, a lot of the ones that are tourists that come over because they want to watch a game, if they don't get your they'll get your ticket. So it don't work no more. They've got you by the balls. No matter what. I'm going to go to the Rangers game. I've heard of some mini protests. Guess what? It's not happening. You're going to go into the game. You're going to go to stretch for them. You're going to sing and you're going to chant the team and support how you want to support.
On the basis that Spurs don't spend money, though, I just Googled quickly expenditure in the Premier League the last 5 years, and you're fourth.
Oh, we spend a lot of money, but the difference is what we
do. So my point is, it's not that no manager's backed; it's the recruitment is so poor. Like,
do you know what it is more
tired? I would say there's two players I would take out your team.
Werner and who?
Definitely not. Van der Ven I'd take all day long. Because I don't think we would stretch his hamstrings the way that Ange does, to be fair.
By the way, dude, this is the quickest way you'll get kicked out of my chat is if you throw shit at me that are lies. Just so you know, I'm not one of those YouTubers that ignores dumb comments. Savva is not at the point where he hopes we lose to get Ange out. Savva's been at the point of Ange out for over a year. So please either shut up, or go and watch another channel where they just say nice things. Thank you very much. Guys, I want to move away from Spurs.
I wanted to lose with Ten Hag. I'm not going to lie. That West Ham game, I was loving it. Yeah,
I just want him gone. I just want him gone. Puxty, just quickly. the problem is Spurs do spend a lot of money, but the problem is what we do is we seem to spread it across a number of players, right? So we don't, if we're going to go and spend 150 million in a transfer window, we don't go and buy 2 top players for it. We'll go and buy 6 or 7 players.
Hence the problem is the recruitment itself.
And we don't pay the wages. We do not compete with all of your clubs other than Wolfies, I'm guessing. We don't compete with Man U, Chelsea, Arsenal,
we don't offer
Liverpool.
big wages anymore.
Who's your top earner?
Probably Son on about Werner's on 165 grand a week.
Right.
How much of that are you paying? Are you paying all of it?
Par with Liverpool.
All of it.
Apparently.
You're on par with Liverpool then in terms of wages. Our top earner is Mo Salah and Van Dijk on 300, and that's now.
Trent about to break the Van Dijk one.
I think we will do, and I think
he's signed. He's signed, by the way. He's already it come out last week, but it's just not been officially.
Yeah, until that's officially done, I won't.
Trust me. When Telegraph from Netherlands say it's done, it's done.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're reliable. For me, that's the most important sign out of all of them.
I agree. Yeah. And I think Trent and Salah will both sign as well. I think they'll.
Can we move on? Can we move on? I want to move on to Man United versus Arsenal. I feel like we need to get a bit of heat going towards the other side of North London at the moment, because that went on for 50 bloody minutes, and I don't know how long you've all got.
That was fun.
Actually, it was quite good. It's quite good. I actually quite enjoyed that.
I think so.
Yeah. It's about my club, not for once, being shit. So
Man United, Arsenal. I'll leave it. Kaz, Hooks. Hooks, you start. Your team lost. You played against 10 men for an hour or so in the game.
I forgot it went 10 men and all.
It was disgusting, man. It was disgusting. It was a game that we should have won on the balance of play. We should have won. You have Havertz with 2 chances that should easily go in. You have Declan Rice with 3 chances that should easily go in. You have Trossard, who literally on the goal line kicks it into the sky. Should have been a goal. Erdegaard missing a penalty. We had so many chances in that game that I'm still confused how we didn't come away with the W. Obviously, you go to the coin flip penalties, and it's flip of a coin. Whatever happens. Mm-hmm. I can't really salute Erdegaard or Havertz for either of their penalties, because I feel like it was just really good saves from Bayinda. Both of the penalties were low, fairly hard. Usually they would go in. 2 very good saves. But my problem with all of that is look, cool, out of the FA Cup. He's thrown it away. Cool, whatever. But my actual problem is the aftermath. So how he's come out after the game. And the one thing that he said that triggered me, and I'm just still triggered thinking about it now, is he goes, there was a bit of bias against, I can even openly say that, but he comes out and says, will we win big trophies? I don't know. For you to be at the helm of my club and you come out and say, I don't know if Arsenal's going to win big trophies, for me, that's loser talk. You've already tapped out. It's crazy. Even if you genuinely don't know, you don't come out and say that. You don't come out and say that. You don't come out and make the players think, oh damn, because if the manager doesn't believe, so why should I believe? You know what I mean? If the manager doesn't believe, why should the fans believe? Do you know what I mean? If I owned Arsenal, and it's not even Arteta, if any of my managers came out and said that in a press conference, by the time they get home, the P45 will be in their inbox. Because I believe, you have to lead by example, and you're not setting a good example by saying things like that in the media, and him and the media, they got this, it's weird, man. He never comes out in the media and says things the way that he should. He never comes out in the media and addresses things straightforward. He always tries to find ways to loopholes, and do you know what I mean? And they've asked me this, now I can try and spin things like he did with the ball. Do you know what I mean? So it's annoying. But hey,
has he been backed?
Yeah. So
can I tell you the only reason I ask? The only reason I ask, Hooks, I know Kaz is I love getting Kaz on the show. You get what you get with Kaz, don't you? Do you know what? The only reason I ask is a lot of your fan base is. Somebody said to me earlier, Hooks, right? And I'm not going to say it was a Spurs YouTuber said to me, this is why I call us Arsenal light. because we're exactly the same as Arsenal, but without the FA Cups and League Cups. Right.
Oh.
So they're basically saying we're in a mess the same way you are. But I see your fans debating about, has he been back to the point where you should be getting over the line, versus other fans saying, well, no, he hasn't. Should you be winning trophies regularly?
Yeah, we should. We should. I feel like the problem isn't the backing. Like, if we're gonna talk about any manager not being backed at Arsenal, we definitely talk about Wenger and Emery before we talk about Arteta, innit? Like, Arteta's been backed, but the problem
hugely,
underneath, like, the Arteta regime has been the recruitment. So it's not that funds haven't been made available. It's the fact that the money that's been made available, they haven't made the best use of that. Like, even if you look at this transfer window, we prioritized a centre back to play left back and a midfielder when everybody knew that we needed a striker.
And how long have you needed a striker for, though? This is this, isn't it? Though, years and years and years. Everyone knows you need a striker and you need an alternative.
Since Giroud left,
and you still don't have those. So I don't understand it.
And look, I firmly believe that it wasn't Arteta that wanted Sterling. I think Sterling was Edu, because obviously Edu came out and made statements in the media about
you badmouth my boy there, Hooks.
Arsenal fans won't be disappointed and all of them things. And because he realized that he came out and spoke but couldn't get over the line what Arteta wanted, he went, Sterling, market opportunity, brought him in on deadline day. But Arsenal fans, not even Arsenal fans, I don't even need to talk from an Arsenal fan perspective. Rivals have known for at least 4 years, why do Arsenal not have someone that's challenging Saka on the right?
Hooks, can I ask you a quick question? How do you feel that Chelsea got Jadon Sancho? Because I think he would be.
He's a bit average. He's a bit average right now.
So I think he's better than Sterling, better than Trossard.
Yeah. So the thing about Sancho is
he?
Yeah, I agree. So the thing about Sancho is
he?
He is.
No, let me ask you again. Is he? Really?
Yes.
Look at
him at Dortmund when he was happy, man.
3 years ago? Flipping, man, fuck me.
So
Sterling is one of the worst players in the league.
Yeah, Sterling.
What? Because he went to Dortmund and a couple good performances and saw a couple compilations, but don't realize the other Bundesliga games he was pony. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Look, I'm a bit salty. I admit this. I don't give a crap. Sancho has not been good for Chelsea. He had a couple good games and he's gone missing to the point he's been dropped again. Let's get one thing straight and right.
They're not saying he's good. They're saying who's less shit, basically.
Yeah, but less shit. But in the Premier League, it's like cool. He can't really. The Premier League's not for him. He's a bit of average. Like, he's got amazing ability, and you're comparing it with average, below average, or let alone someone who's a super sub. It don't really solve your problems, does it?
He was never going to come Arsenal anyway, because
why not?
I mean, to answer your question, Arteta doesn't like Arteta don't like ego, man. Do you know what I mean? Anyone that's got an ego, Arteta don't want their man at the club.
That's true.
Yeah, that's probably why Tony never came as well in the summer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of
Tony wanted the money.
Yeah, but a lot of Arsenal fans, were hyping up about Tony this, Tony that. I knew that he was never coming because I watched the All or Nothing documentary, and the way that Arteta had his tweet on the board, before we went to go play Brentford again, I knew that he was never coming to Arsenal. So Tony was never a realist, at least not under Arteta. Maybe if we had another manager, maybe. But this is the thing, and it's weird, Arteta, maybe it's because he can't actually translate what he wants over to players that are of a certain mind frame or of a certain age or are used to certain things. He definitely can't handle the, I guess, quote unquote, bigger personalities, which makes it hard for Arsenal, because the one place where you find the bigger personalities is in the 9 position. Like, I don't know where in world football you're going to find a 9 that doesn't have a big personality that is actually going to be a good 9. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because he's not. Arsenal need a 9, but for Arsenal to get the 9 that all Arsenal fans want as a 9, Arteta has to leave. But then
what's that got to do with the game?
Good question.
I'm only answering.
They needed a number 9 to finish you off.
No, to be fair, I asked for that. I asked that question and then Hooks answered. Let's go back to the game yesterday. Do you
go back
think
to the game,
do you think you should have lost to Man United?
No way. No absolute way in hell. Like, we absolutely dominated that game. All their man did was
possession means domination.
We're gonna do the rough up.
Possession means domination.
You know, we had more chances.
You had one shot on target until Delo got sent off.
We had more clear chances.
You had one shot on target until Delo got sent off.
Who cares?
What domination? What do you mean? Define domination, please.
He got sent off. Who cares? In that first half, we had the majority of the ball. We had the majority of the chances. We should have scored.
Oh my god!
Hella time in that first half. We had the clearer chances. You know, let's have it right now. Let's have it right. If we wanna have it completely right, you shouldn't have scored anyway because your goal came from Saliba getting elbowed in the face.
Oh, all right, cool. You know what? Sure, cool. All right. I was literally just watching that as we were speaking. I literally just saw that. Of course he did. By the way, the guy booted the ball. The guy booted the ball into Garnacho, headed the ball into Garnacho. He tried to twist and he slipped, but there's been an elbow in the face. All right,
but the thing is, yeah, it's done now. You won. Congratulations.
Sure.
Congratulations.
No, it's salty because I've never ever seen.
I'm not salty though.
You are salty. You're very salty because you can go run. You know what? I implore you to go and run some of the clips back. I've never seen a compilation of a referee with so many bad decisions. I've never seen a fan base not call up. Yeah, I've never seen it. By the way, I personally never seen a.
And you're a United fan, and
I've never seen it.
Thank you, Wolfie.
In a single game. In a single game, I've never seen a compilation made.
You forget the
about mistakes. I don't come in here talking about flipping referees all the time. Like,
you can't. That's why you can't.
No, I can't. Wolfie, stop being bitter. Just because
I ain't being bitter. I love that you're doing this on the Spurs channel when the biggest mistake in football came against Spurs at Old Trafford.
Imagine I get asked a question about a game and I have to go talk about the past. But whenever I talk about the past, they say, "Why are you doing history?"
You brought refs up. You brought refs up.
Anyways. No. Wait, 1 sec. Because if we're gonna go for this year,
you said never in my life.
Your fan base are a bunch of hypocrites, right? Because you talk about Man City and referees all the time about allegations of Michael Oliver. Your fan base, yeah, and I'm pretty sure you've brought up before. Maybe regardless. But if we're gonna keep it honest, Andrew Madley, or is it Andy Madley, if you want to call him that,
shocking.
In 2018, came out and said that his boyhood club was Arsenal. So why have your fan base not been consistent and pulled that up? And I'm not even pulling up the fact that he was like. So I'm doing it. I thought he had a poor game. I thought I'm doing it for your fan base. A game where even if Havertz scored that year, he would handballed it first. Yeah, go and watch it back. Or in a game where the low game decision to send him off, but he missed the whole ball anyways. Maguire penalty, tried that. Look, he should have been sent off for a headbutt. Whatever, he didn't even. His first yellow card was even a yellow. What do you mean? This is what I mean. This is how your head is so hot. If you go watch and see the pictures or a video of why a guy got mad, Havertz. How about this? Havertz had his hands around his throat. I've got the picture saved if you want me to send it to you, by the way. Stop. Because that's the fact. Because then he would never have had that chance. So stop it, Hooks. I couldn't care less. The thing is, you talk about dark arts, wasting time and all this stuff, corner FC and all this kind of stuff, yeah? But yet when your team tried it and got it done back to them, you lot couldn't do shit because your team.
Arsenal were booing time wasting yesterday.
I went to the game yesterday and I had Arsenal fans, a couple of them, they were happy when Jesus was injured on the floor. They were happy when he came off because he can't stand his sight. Not rival fans. Every time they says, "Oh, it's just going down the wings again," and I was gaslighting them. Oh, another cross. Oh wait. It goes to the corner flag. It's like, oh, we might get something. And I'm like, I don't know. Erdegaard looks a little bit injured. Like, I don't think 3 straight corners in a row. They start booing him. I'm saying, what? And I'm hearing around me, why the fuck is this guy our captain? All he does is hair flips. Clearly watches Lee Gunner streams. So on that notice, if you're going to keep moving, what you talk about domination, right?
All I'm hearing is
domination. Wait, 1 sec. I will. But I'm getting to that part. But you won't let me land. I let you land. Now, on my stream, you overspoke on me. And on this stream, you've also done that. When you was talking with Savva, I didn't say a word. So now let me land, yeah? On that notice, your definition of what you thought was domination is not domination. When we're sitting back with 10 men, that's expected. But before, even your own fans would even when we was having discussions, me pretending to be an Arsenal fan in your North Bank end, the hooligan end, they didn't even fuck all to me, mate. So on that notice, when you keep talking about it, all you're doing, no, because I actually had it down for most of the game. And I just pretended to be one of you lot because it's easy to gaslight you and get you lot gas because you lot are thick as shit. So anyways, on that notice, all you were doing is pass, get it to Martinelli, cut back, hope for a cross, and someone might header it. But really and truly, even after we got sent off, who was your highest man? Not even Havertz. It was Declan Rice. You lot are absolutely joke men. And the fact that, you know what, there was no credibility coming from you about Man United because really, we just defended really well. I'm not going to say we played well. We couldn't barely string 5 passes together at times. We had opportunities as well, but I don't give a crap about that. All I'm happy about is that there was a bit of fighting spirit about United and we just used the dark arts, as you lot want to label it, back on you and you didn't like it. That's what I'm happy about. That's what I'm happy about. I'm happy to see that Xerxes has a smile on his face and he's giddy 13 days prior to getting booed by some pricks, right? Your own player, and now he's happy again and he's looking like he's obviously back into some confident form. I'm just happy about that. I'm happy that De Ligt has finally, after a mistake against Liverpool or 2 even, come out and done 2 absolute major blocks, one off the line, one in the middle of 2 players. I'm just happy we got through the game in the end with 10 men. And I can't believe I have to say 10 men for an hour, you still couldn't score. So even whether it's the ref or whether it's Arsenal, overall, you lot are tin pot shit just as much as we are. Because you can't do anything. Honestly,
I thought the game was a very good game, though.
You lot are in the mud and you're at the FA Cup. And I love to say this because my last point is with your manager that you said you want to see through to the end and see where you are. Won the FA Cup with somebody else's team, out in the 4th round, out in the 3rd round, out in the 4th round, out in the 3rd round. You've been to 2 semi-finals in basically what? In the last 5 since his tenure's been there. And you know what? That's what you call, has he been backed enough? Up to you lot. Anyways, I thought Maguire was hot shit and I really liked his performance. I liked a lot of their performance by one player, which was Højlund. But other than that, are you not entertained?
I really enjoyed watching an Arsenal versus Manchester United game with no VAR. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I bet you do.
What's that got to do with anything, man?
I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it. That Arsenal Manchester United game had everything. Like that reminded me, of the days of old. You had the fight. You know
what the big difference was, Hooks? In the days of old, you were playing for something. Not this game, man. This was for the right to me. Who did you get in the next round, Cass?
I've got Leicester.
This is for the right to meet Leicester. So don't try and liken this to days of old, where there was guards of honors and stuff like that.
How the game played out. Like,
Savva, you both fallen, man.
Let's move on. I'm so happy we're no longer talking about Tottenham Hotspur. Truly happy. Listen, look, Man United have gone through, and again, Arsenal. All I know is that Arsenal YouTubers last night must have been raking in some serious revenue after that. Guys, I want to move to Liverpool Forest. There's no point talking about Liverpool's cup win. I think it was a very.
Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
yes. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, yeah. So
big one.
Liverpool clash.
It's at Anfield, right? It's at Anfield.
No, City Ground.
No, it's at Forest.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Puxty. Yeah, so it's at the City Ground. Guys, listen? I'm just asking a question as a host. Is this the sort of game where if Forest win, people have to turn around and go, "Hang on, they are in a title race," or is this the case of if Liverpool win this, we all go, "Okay, Forest, just get back in your box"? I'm just, where are we at with this game, guys?
I think they're already in a title race, me personally.
I think they are at the moment, yes. I do think they are at the moment, yeah. I mean, they're the only team to have beaten us in the league this season. They didn't deserve it, but all good teams, they don't play well every game, and they go out and they win, and they're the most informed team at the moment. It's going to be a tough game for Liverpool. If we come away with a draw, I'm all right with that because we've still got a game in hand. We're still going to be in front of them, still be in front of Arsenal. Not a problem.
Hang on. I want to refute that before Wolfie comes in. I mean, we're looking at the table there. You're 6 points clear. Yes, you've got a game in hand, but you're seriously telling me you're comfortable with going to the City Ground whilst telling me you're going to win the title and you think the quad is on
because
as well.
I'm thinking the long game. Nottingham Forest.
So
is a
point is acceptable for Liverpool at the
City ground.
I ain't asking you. Stop nodding your head.
At the City ground,
I'm not going to shake it.
No, this is not the one. This is not it. The mentality shift is like, if this was, it's all right, cool.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it. I'm thinking the same as you.
If you didn't let me finish, why I said a point is.
Thank you, Mr. Link. Mr. Link, big Liverpool fan. Look at it.
Nottingham Forest away this season is going to be one of our toughest games, without a doubt. So if we can go away not losing, I would be all right with that. Because our next game is away at Brentford. Brentford have only lost one game at home this season. Who is it to? Nottingham Forest. They're no mugs. So I do think, yes, going to their ground, take a point, we move on to the next one. We've still got a game in hand. We'll still be 6 points clear. Arsenal are not going to worry me this season at all.
But where's the chest? Where's the hang on?
Because I want us to win everything. So if we can just take a point against Forest, I'm happy to just move on because I want us to win the lot. We've got a lot more games than all of you clubs to play for the rest of the season because we're going to get to the final in everything.
But if you draw, if you get a point, right, and Arsenal beat Tottenham, suddenly the points gap is only 4.
Yeah, but then game round 7.
Yeah, but we could all talk games in hand and blah blah blah. That's fine.
But that game in hand is an easier game than Forest.
Oh, but David Moyes is back at the helm now, so it might be a bit more difficult.
And Arsenal still needs to go to the City ground as well.
Their players are still shit. It don't
matter. I'm not having this for a team that want to win the title. I'm not having going.
You just can't get your head around the facts of where we are. You still can't make your peace with it. That's what it is, right?
No.
Puxty, shout out to you. I've got to say, I've been really impressed with the Liverpool fans this season.
Thank you.
And the respect they're showing Forest. And it would do the other teams the world of good to take a page out of their book, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Because maybe you wouldn't have lost to us at the City ground if you came with that humble approach they're doing. Maybe you wouldn't have lost at Old Trafford if you had that humble approach. You know what I'm saying? Chelsea couldn't beat us. And Puxy's right in exactly what he says. If they can come out with a point, Forest, let's not forget, have won 6 in a row in the Premier League. The only team to do it so far this season.
Newcastle
6 W's in a row. No, they've done 5 in the league. We've done 7 if you want to include cups. They've done 6, 7 as well if you include cups for them. Now, the other thing is we haven't conceded a single goal in the last 4 games. Clean sheet, clean sheet, clean sheet. It is not easy to score against us.
We scored 3.
Yeah, but that we didn't have.
Haven't Liverpool got to come out here and make a statement as if
they
to
need
say
to win this game?
we've had a couple of.
They need to make a statement. Their statement is league position.
Hang on, let me finish my sentence.
Sorry,
I've only got 5 words out. Right? Haven't they got to come out, make a statement, and say we've had a couple of iffy games now? You know, you had the iffy game with Man United. You lost to Spurs. Surely you've got to come out now and go, right, we're gonna stamp our authority on this title race and go and beat the team that are closest to us other than Arsenal. Surely that's got to be the thing.
Because
we want to draw.
The Liverpool fans, I don't want to speak on their behalf, but I think they understand that if they lose at Forest, that opens the title race back up. A draw or a win for Liverpool is definitely acceptable in the longer scheme of the league title.
Exactly. Which is
that's the key here.
Yeah.
That's the key here.
I disagree. For
Let
Liverpool,
me ask you,
that's why you're 13.
I would take.
So because I'm 13, I can't have an opinion about someone at the top of the clash table. But because I'm 13, that invalidates.
You
my
know
opinion.
what it's like up here, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Wolfie, I'm glad you're having your 15 minutes of fame and all that. It's all nice and well, you know.
Do you know what Wolfie and Forest are? They're like Chesney Hawks. They've had that one big hit. They're going to dine out on it for decades.
Do you know what? It's a lot like Leicester because they're still living off that song right now, aren't they? So
yeah, but Leicester won the league. Leicester went on.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So we won Champions Leagues. Let's not go down the history stuff.
40 years ago, mate.
The other thing, if you want to talk about history, Liverpool's record at Forest is atrocious.
Yeah.
Barring last season where the ref gave him the game in the 99th minute, they haven't won there since 84. Okay.
I commend you for changing your opinion on that, because last week you said we cheated, but you are now correct in saying just the ref gave a bit more time.
Well, it was for your side, cheated, whatever, right? Semantics.
Wolfie's as bitter to every team because he's suffered it pretty much his whole life. Even though we all know that you're born in the 70s and you started supporting Nottingham Forest.
I wish, man, I'd have seen Forest lifting trophies.
But
I would have seen Forest lift trophies. But what I'm saying, history. If you want to talk about history, that ground for Liverpool, there's history there. The golden age, the ones you're talking about, Cass, and the Liverpool fans don't like each other because of the late 70s, because of the European trophies. So there's an atmosphere there. Forest are gagging for this game.
There is no
at night,
atmosphere.
under the lights.
There's no atmosphere with 60-year-old men having a go at one another, or 65, 70, because you lot are ancient.
You couldn't even point Nottingham out on the map before you start talking, man. Seriously.
In the whole Premier League. What are you on about? Your atmosphere.
You don't even know what county Nottingham's in, man.
You barely got a young
county it's in.
What do you mean? I couldn't give where my geography skills are up to scratch.
There you go then, and then you're commenting on atmospheres and stuff.
I don't know what you're part of. Some sort of. Are you part of the Midlands? What?
Part of the Midlands. Where are we? Where are we? Exactly. It's a sit down, man.
I know where it is. It's not far off Leicester, and it's not far off Derby. Whatever. I don't care. South of Sheffield. Whatever. I couldn't give a toss. But
south of Scotland, yeah.
What are you calling that part of England, Scotland? What are we doing?
Well, no, Nottingham technically south of Scotland. I'm just helping you out, man.
Yeah. Anyways,
guys, who cares about geography? Who cares where they are? I'm sorry, but when has it been acceptable for Liverpool to draw with? Are we saying that Liverpool don't have to win this game because a point in the grand scheme?
Correct. We don't have to win this game.
Mathematically speaking, no. But Liverpool should be wanting. Liverpool should be wanting to.
I didn't say I didn't want to win it. I just said I would accept it. And that's just being logical.
Yeah, of course. But
win the game. You have to.
Liverpool don't have
to. If we win it, the season's finished. It's over. We've won the league.
Yeah, I agree with that. If Liverpool win tomorrow, cancel the league.
You know what it is with me, Wolfie? It's Liverpool always, like last year, like their fans always overdo it, in my opinion, with certain, not all of them, but certain things. Like last year, it means more. Even when it comes to that certain of the fan base, because you're Scouts, it means more than even a regular fan that's outside Liverpool. All of that bullshit. But when it comes to standards, big club, all of that, it's acceptable when you're going for a title and you can end it when there's an opportunity. The same thing we cost Arsenal for, by the way, when there's opportunities and they don't take it, but it's acceptable in the grand scheme of things. If you do that, if you draw tomorrow, you've bottled it a bit. Because
they haven't.
Yes, they have. No, they have.
No, they haven't.
So if we're 2-0 down and we come back to draw 2-2, is that bottling it? Because that's showing
because you didn't win. Because you didn't win. That's who cares about drawing against Forest too much when you're trying to win the league and you're on the top. That's my whole thing. I'm not even trying to get
already at the top. Even if we lose, we're still top.
It's not the point.
That is a point. That is a valid point. No point actually is relevant.
So when Arsenal drew and dropped some points, whether it was Southampton or West Ham or whoever, and there was who cares? We're still on top. We didn't say that to them. We started calling them bottlers and whatnot. Yeah, so why can't we not apply the same logic?
Thought Arsenal were going to win the league last year.
Because it's not, my opinion, sorry, even if I do sound going a little bit over the top, just because it's fashionable for Arsenal does not mean it can't be fashionable for you lot because you don't like what I'm hearing. So for me, you just had a howler of performance against United. You had I'm pretty sure you just had a howler of a performance against Spurs. And now all of a sudden, you go and have performed badly against Nottingham Forest. All of that's acceptable all of a sudden because your name's not Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United.
It's because they're going up against third in the league.
We're not short-sighted.
Technically, I think you're secondly. No, my whole point is while the performances are creepily going down, no one's going to highlight what just because they're
Cass, let me ask you this.
No,
let me ask you this.
You're misunderstanding.
Cass, last season, would it have been acceptable for Man City to have gone to the Emirates and drawn with Arsenal with a 6-point lead?
No. Yeah, but you're not Arsenal.
It doesn't matter.
That's not the point.
He's talking about the gap.
It's not. It's all about the gap. It's all about the gaps.
Talks, by the way, but you're talking about your game in hand like it's guaranteed. Everton got into one of the last derbies.
I didn't say game in hand. Man City go to Arsenal, 6-point gap. Is it acceptable for them to draw?
No, because even if you ask that who I live with, who's a City fan, will tell you going away while you're in a title race and dropping anything other than a win is a howler. That's
to
his
second
mentality.
place.
Yeah, but no team ever wins 100% of their games.
No,
do
for
they?
you it's okay, Wolfie. For me, if you get a draw, look, Wolfie, your team's outstanding, mate. You're doing more than well. Even if you lose tomorrow, I won't even disrespect you, mate, like your club, because you're doing better than a lot of other individual clubs, right? And that's fair game. You got a different pressure. But for these lot, it's just because when they drew to Man City, and you got the clip of that James or whatever his name
Celebrating their draw.
celebrating a draw at an away game, which they should have won at City at that point.
Were they ahead of them? Were they ahead of them?
I think were they ahead? I think they might have been.
They were.
Yeah, they were.
Ahead.
Were they ahead? Well, that's not acceptable. This scenario is different.
No,
they are ahead. They will maintain their gap with the draw.
If it's a draw, we're still in front. This is what I don't think you're understanding. We're still in front.
I can't believe we're agreeing and we're the two playing. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, is your name Puxty, buddy? Is it Puxty? Yeah. Sorry. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that, but I just feel like when Liverpool standards,
this is just how Kaz is, Puxty.
I feel like for me, if I was in that position, if I drew, I'm not saying it's okay if I'm in your position. I'm like, if you ain't going in for the kill, regardless, I'm thinking that's horrendous. That's a
question. Okay, I'll tell you what, Kaz. One sec, Savva. I would wholeheartedly agree with you if we were away to Brentford, West Ham, and I'm saying we're 6 points clear, we take a point. I would agree with you. That's not good enough. But you're forgetting Forest are second.
Exactly.
They're the only team that have beaten us this season.
They're third.
Joint second.
Joint second.
No, they can't have joint. Can't have joint.
Okay, all right. At the moment, they're third. But either way, if it's a draw, we're still 6 points in front of them with a game in hand over them.
Let me come at it from a different point of view. I want to come at it from a different point of view. And I think this is kind of what Kaz is saying. Kaz, you will tell me if I'm wrong. The problem is you've had the bad result at home to Man United, who are 13th. You've then had the bad result away to Tottenham, who are 12th. Accrington Stanley, I'm not even going to talk about that because you should be battering them at home.
You should be beating
right?
them, yeah.
Then if you don't beat Nottingham Forest, now I'm not, again, everyone thinks it's disrespect. I'm talking about for where Liverpool are versus what Forest are. If you have that 4 games in a row, I think what Kaz's point was that when Arsenal were in a title challenge, people were going, well, hang on, they dropped points in 3 consecutive games to, I think it was Southampton, West Ham, and Liverpool. And everyone was going, well, if you want to win titles, you can't have that. Is that roughly what you're saying?
Yeah, but they weren't 6 points clear. I get the point, and I do agree with
I
what
think
Kaz
they were
is
about
saying.
8 points clear at that point. And that's where they bottled it.
Yeah, it was an 8-point lead, and then City reeled them in. Yeah.
Yeah,
City had 2 games in hand.
They drew with.
Did you have a game in hand as well?
No, City had 2 games in hand.
No, City had the game in hand.
Yeah, but boys, they weren't the teams that were second and third that they drew with. That's the difference.
But this is the thing.
It doesn't matter where you are on the table.
This is where the actual problem comes in. So say Liverpool draw to Nottingham Forest, and when Arsenal win in the North London derby at home, because Arsenal will win at home in the North London derby.
Okay.
Not only are Nottingham Forest still in and around, Arsenal have now closed the gap to 4 points.
It'd be 3 points, wouldn't it? We're 6 points clear at the moment.
Yeah,
but either way, the gap is closed. Like Puxty's saying, Liverpool winning, Puxty, takes you guys so far clear of everybody else that it's not a competition. You not winning suddenly could mean Forest, Liverpool,
the door.
And that's the
and dare I say Newcastle.
Happens if
not winning. No,
I
disagree with that. Not winning, it doesn't open the door. Losing opens the door.
I agree with
Oh
that.
my God, what's the difference?
I agree. No, he's absolutely
a point. It's a difference.
You can't tell me if Liverpool draw tomorrow, right, and then Arsenal win the North London derby, which they probably will. Like, how can we not say that 4 points gap is not opening the door? Forget the game in hand, right? Forget Forget Arsenal's mentality and whatnot. 4 points is opening the door. If people were talking about Chelsea being in a title challenge and we were 2 points behind with a game in hand, then the door is firmly open if Liverpool drop points and Arsenal go 4 behind. That is an opening of the door.
Yeah, but Charlie, the point here is you've told us you're not in a title race. Yeah, I am sure if Forest draw Liverpool, will you change your mind and say you're in a title race?
Maybe. That's because fans are
trying to.
No, I'm talking to Charlie here. If Forest draw with Liverpool, will you message me and say you are now in a title race?
Charlie, remember your proper Chelsea. Keep up the standard, mate.
Okay, so how's that opening the door? Arsenal, I honestly, I'm not saying this because I'm a Forest fan. I think Forest are more likely to rival Liverpool than Arsenal to the title. Arsenal are in a mess, yeah? I would actually go as far to say as
that is a mad
Newcastle. I'd be more scared of Newcastle.
The level of
Wolfie, do you think you're finishing above Arsenal this season?
All right, let me
You shot your load way too early. Like I feel like listen. Do you know when people say, I think a lot of people aren't showing the respect to Forest. And let's be fair, if it wasn't Forest, it could be next year.
Wolfie. No, it's Wolfie. Please. It's Wolfie.
Yeah, but hang on, Kaz. But this is my point, right? Let's say next year Fulham were in this exact same position, right? I think the difference is there's no humbleness to anything. It's, I think we're the best placed team. You're like, whoa, hang on. You've had a good run. You're in good form. But do you truly believe you're the second best team to Liverpool in this league over 38 games?
Yes, as things stand, yes. I see Arsenal in absolute chaos right now, on and off the pitch. We are not. We are so harmonized off the pitch.
How many have they lost in 10? How many have Arsenal lost in the last 10 games?
Last 2 games.
Recently, 2.
No, Premier League. Premier League.
0?
Don't know.
They haven't lost a game in 10, and we're calling them a shambles. Like, surely, like,
would Hooks call me out for saying there's shambles on and off the pitch right now?
0. We've lost 0.
Yeah, but would you say my statement is incorrect?
I think that maybe somewhere in the past, an Arsenal fan must have done something to you, because the bias that you have towards my club is absolutely insane. Like, I saw you say that Chelsea were going to finish in the top 4 ahead of Arsenal. Like, to say something like that.
That was pre-season, yeah. Second.
And no. It was only the other day on a stream.
I still would. Honestly, the way I'm seeing your boys move right now, I feel you're on a downstairs.
You see, we're second. We're sitting.
Hooks, are you going to disagree with me? Are you looking like the wheels are falling off on and off the pitch right now?
No, we are second in the league.
Okay, answer the question.
I need you to understand that we are second in the league. I don't.
Okay, the league doesn't stop on the 13th of January.
Yeah, but the thing is, Arsenal haven't been at their top all season, and we're still second in the league.
But are you more likely to improve or go that way? That's my question.
We can't get any worse.
Famous last words. You lose to Spurs. I think that gets a lot
worse. If you lose and Villa on a weekend. And Villa.
Do you know what? We haven't even hit third gear yet.
Do you know what?
This is
neither week.
You lot are sensational.
You ain't got third gear at the minute.
We haven't been in second gear. We're second on first gear.
Can we go back to the Liverpool?
You have no right winger. Your star boy is out. Yeah, you've got goddamn Havertz up front. Jesus is out. Jesus is out.
I think Tottenham are
Martinelli, you're all turned on him. Yeah, show me where the harmony is. Show me where your starting 11 is right now.
Hey,
what if they beat us?
Postecoglou.
What if they beat us? If they beat us and you lose,
when?
We'll have that conversation.
I don't know when that'll happen either, to be honest.
If they beat us and Liverpool beat you, are you seriously still telling me that you're better placed to finish above? Listen, I'm a Spurs fan here, and I can't see how you're better than Arsenal. I'm sorry. You're in
I didn't say we're better than Arsenal. I didn't say we're better than Arsenal. No, I didn't. Just because a team finishes ahead of another team does not make them better than that team.
You said over 38 game calls period. Did you not?
Yeah, judge it then. Yeah. I am saying if Forest finish ahead of Arsenal, this season, it does not mean
you just said you would over 38 game period.
It does not mean we have the better squad, the better players.
You backed them to finish. You think that you're going to finish above Arsenal, so therefore you think
okay, show me where I said Forest are better than Arsenal in terms of players, in terms of teams.
The table doesn't lie. The table doesn't lie. If you think you're going to finish above us, you're better than us. The table doesn't lie.
Yeah, ask
I feel a wager coming on. I feel a wager coming on here. Look, I get it, right? My big question to go back to basics is: if Liverpool win this, are we talking about champions elect?
Yes. Yeah. Champions elect anyway. It's finished. It's done.
It's not done.
Nah, it's not over to the fat lady sings.
But
Whether you want to
Wolfie
take
saying
that
it's
clip,
not,
I don't
Charlie.
care. Nah,
It's
forget
not
that.
done. Tomorrow's the decider for Liverpool. If Liverpool win it, that gap becomes unsustainable. I feel Spurs will get something in the North London derby. I know that will shock Hooks and Savva, but I do feel that Arsenal right now do not look like they're going in the right direction.
It doesn't shock me, Wolfie. I've seen you on many streams. I know that you don't like my club. I
do
know
like your club. My boy supports your club, bro.
No,
don't give me that. I hate his club. His club I hate.
I don't care about all that. I know that you got bias.
I want the best for you, not the expense of Forest. I do. Yes, I do.
I've seen you on enough streams now. You're not a stranger to me. I've seen you on enough streams now to know that you do not like Arsenal. I know this. It's
you
okay.
Can't tell me who I do like and don't
Your
like.
Your bias towards Arsenal is okay. From the moment you said, that you think Chelsea are gonna finish in the top 4 ahead of Arsenal, that's when I knew that it's beyond the point of saving.
So if I said I think Man U are going to finish ahead of Villa, does that mean I hate Villa?
What?
What does it matter what I predict the positions are?
What?
If I say I think Man U are going to finish ahead of Villa, does that mean I like Man U now?
On top of everything else that you say.
I'm just saying I don't get that logic.
That was the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. Like, it's not just you said that, it's you said that. And
so because I said Chelsea will finish ahead of you, you think that's
Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, joke thing.
Yeah.
By the way, killed it.
Anyways, can we go back to the key word, grand scheme of things? Because I love that word, because it's just a prediction. The grand scheme of things, if you look towards the end of the season, why someone dropped points or whatever, or didn't win the league like Arsenal fans did, could be the same case for Liverpool, but it won't get mentioned. Because the grand scheme of things, you look back why that draw and that draw and that draw didn't win you the league. Because
draws are worse than losing at the end of the day. If you're going for a title, it's the draws that kill you. Like it really is.
But then it's all you draw against. If we're drawing against a team who's second or third,
but regardless of who
away from home, no guys.
Yeah, but 1 point is 1 point.
Away from home's always harder.
Yeah, it is, but a draw's a draw at the end of the day. Like, you get 1 point.
If it's against the team that's in second or third and you've got game in hands over them, it's not the end of the world, is it?
No, it's not the end of the world. No.
Exactly. That was my point.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not a disaster, right? But it could become that if you look back at the end of the season and for whatever reason Liverpool miss out on the title, right? You will look back on points dropped against Forest away from home, for example, as difference makers. Liverpool shouldn't be worried. I'm not saying they're worried, but Liverpool shouldn't be going to Nottingham Forest, regardless of where they are in the table, feeling concerned about it. They just shouldn't.
I'm not concerned about it. What I'm saying is I'm not underestimating them.
No. I mean, Charlie, the fact you said draws are worse than losses. So by that logic, should Liverpool feel less upset about their loss at home to Forest over them drawing away to us? Let's say it's a draw.
No. What I mean about draws worse than losses are, right? Look at Serie A, right? Juve are unbeaten this season. They've drawn about 12 games and they're about 5th in the table. That's my point. That draws actually are more.
Do you know you get a point for a draw? Yeah.
Yes.
What he's saying is it's not. I see what you're saying. Like, obviously, a point is more than 0. But what Charlie's talking about is they always say in a title race, that a draw is no good in a title race. Like,
you can say a draw is as bad as a loss. You can't say it's worse than a loss. Let's be real here.
The draw kills you. The draw might be at home at Palace. Not away to second or third in the league.
About on the draws thing, Wolfie, right? It's like you could have 3. You could be unbeaten for 5 games, right? We've got 5 draws. I could win 2 games and lose 3 and have more points. That's the point that I'm making.
Or you could win those 2 games and draw those 3 and have 3 more points than you would have without those 3 losses.
Let me ask a question. Right, because I know a few people need to drop off in a minute. I'm going to ask this. I asked this last week. I want to see if anything's changed. Plus, we've got Kaz here this week. Does anyone think here that Nottingham Forest don't get top 4? Not 5th. I'm not talking about coefficient points. I'm talking about the traditional top 4. Am I the only one that thinks they won't get in the top 4?
I don't. No, I think they dropped to Europa League spot.
I think they'll be. They'll finish between 5th and 7th. But what I would say is, though, if they win tomorrow, then I think that could be the moment where a lot of people we're like, actually, do you know what? These could be serious, and the Champions League could be on if they win tomorrow. But as things stand right now, I don't think they'll finish in the top 4.
I don't think if Forest win tomorrow, a lot of people will still be saying that, and that is absolutely fine by us.
I got Newcastle to go. I think Newcastle will finish above them in the end.
Who's your Kaz? Forget the order. What's your top 4? Who are your top 4 teams?
Liverpool, Arsenal. Oh wait, I might change my mind on that one now. Liverpool, Chelsea for sure. I've got Newcastle in there. I'll put Arsenal. You know what? I have to put Arsenal now. I reckon. Still, yeah, I have to be fair.
Wait, you just put Chelsea ahead of Arsenal, yeah? Hooks, are you listening? Are you listening, Hooks?
You think Chelsea and Newcastle are finishing above Arsenal as well?
And you came at me. And you came at me. You came at me.
Well, as it stands, you got as it stands, yeah, you got you've got a captain way off of it.
I think in my phone, you know.
Yeah, what? That's scary. But what's it called? You got Jesus out for your Purple Patch Warriors out. Saka is definitely out.
Done for the season. He's finished.
I don't. You know what it is? I don't even think that you're going to lose a lot. I just reckon you're going to end up having a few more draws, and that's going to accumulate more.
Well, they're worse than losses, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? So
they are.
As it stands, Chelsea are trying to get rid of disaster, get rid of whoever else it is that they're trying to get rid of, and get in some brand new players. Vega's going out. They're going to get players. That's going to help
when we win the league, I'm coming to celebrate at yours.
But you don't even believe in your own manager, let alone win the league.
When we win the league, I'm coming to celebrate.
I told you, Hooks, we're going to win the league before you do.
Oh, that's a bet. That's got to be a bet. Oh, mate. Hooks, you got to put him for that, mate. That's £100 bet easy. Come on, man.
They're going through when Arteta ends up staying and nothing happens and whatever. They're going back to phase 1 eventually. Everyone can see it, but just let them continue.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, isn't it? It's bad. But all I know is I'm coming to celebrate at yours when we win the league.
I think it depends.
I want to see you.
I won't even be living here by that time then.
Kaz, just to confirm though, in your top 4, you don't think City will make the top 4. Is that right?
You know what it is? I think it's with Pep, the landing period of players. I know they're going to get Marmoush, a young player, and maybe another one. Kusanov, the young player. I don't know how good he is. I don't know how long it's going to take. I think there's a lot of. Well. I think it'd be difficult to handle all. Like they need a lot. They need a lot, right? And I'm not writing off City. I don't think they drop out the top 6 either. I don't. I think they're going to be in and around the top 4. I think they're going to.
I reckon they finish second.
I think they're going to have a period and whatnot. And I think they've got a good base to go off in terms of, what's the word? Example, like considering the season before and before. And when I said this last week, I think Wolfie used on the stream as well. I said, you're all laughing at City, but they could be in 10th, 9th. They might lose to Brentford or whatever, but there's going to be a period where they go in a winning run.
Yeah.
And one player could change their fortunes, maybe 2 players, and it will click. But I just don't know how much it will click when it comes to facing the bigger sides. I think that's where they're going to...
Agree.
I think that's where they do drop a lot of their points, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. But I do think they're going to end up finishing 6th or 5th eventually. And you know what? I think according to Daps, he says we don't even deserve to be in the Champions League as it stands. So, and we need to go through a rebuild. So be it.
They could end this week, by the way. We will end the show in the next couple of minutes. They could end this week, by the way, in the top 4. I'm going Liverpool from City. And then I think Arsenal and Chelsea will be in there. I don't think we're going to see a surprise. I think, and by the way, that's not me knocking Forest. I know everyone thinks that's me knocking them. I think if Nottingham Forest secure European football this year,
ridiculous.
I think it's a brilliant year that no one saw coming. But now all of a sudden, if you don't think Nottingham Forest are in a title race, you hate. I don't hate them, but what the word Kaz was looking for there, I believe, was not Man City have got previous. And this is the difference. When you get into the last 10, 15 games of the season and you need to know how to get over the line, your players are tired. They've got the know-how. I don't know if the Nottingham Forest players have. At game 30, I could have egg on my face. They could be right up there.
What's Newcastle?
I get the feeling they'll fade away a little bit.
Yeah. For me, I say the winner of tomorrow's game wins the league. Or if they draw Liverpool in the league.
Stream Savva, man.
Another Newcastle third. Newcastle third. Shout out to the Toon. They're doing a cracking job this year. And then City fourth.
Really well.
Oh, so
you think if you beat Liverpool tomorrow, you're winning the league title?
Second, Wolfie, and now 6 months later, we're not finishing in the top 4.
Yeah, where did you predict Forest to finish at the start of the season?
I don't predict that far down the table.
Yeah, so they were down the table then, yeah?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so have you changed your
mid-table.
prediction on Forest? Have you changed your prediction on Forest?
Well, I have to, yeah.
Well, there you
go.
go. So glass houses and all that.
No, but yeah, no, fine.
There you go. 16.
Man United 4.
Man United 4. Savva.
You had Man United 4. Chelsea
They
5th.
put that up against Savva. Who did you?
Wow, that's a prediction.
I didn't realise Man United.
My
were gonna
confidence in
completely
Forest
self-implode.
finishing top 4 has just increased dramatically, mate.
I had Man United 4th as well in my
I had them 9th.
I had Chelsea 3rd.
Who did you have
guys,
winning it?
Chelsea
we are going to end the show. I just want one quick prediction and some super chats really, really quickly. And then we are going to end the show. 2 big games. I'm going to go round for the first score prediction and then the second one. The first score prediction, starting with Wolfie, going round past me, then Charlie. Nottingham Forest at home to Liverpool. Wolfie, give me a score.
0-0.
I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. Charlie?
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
Hooks?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Nottingham Forest.
Ooh.
We still love each other, bro.
He just wants some loving for Arsenal.
The fact that Konate's might not be playing as well. Maybe. I'm gonna go 2-1 Forest.
I didn't hear you, Cass. What did you say?
I said 2-1 Forest. I hate Liverpool.
That doesn't surprise me. 2-1 Liverpool. 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And starting the last one, we are going to end the show. Wolfie, North London derby. At Arsenal, Tottenham. Both teams got loads of injuries. What's going on, Wolfie?
2-1 Spurs. Spurs are going to do something Spursy.
Spursy, but the good version of Spursy.
A reverse Spursy, yeah.
A reverse Spursy.
A reverse Spursy.
That's fine.
I'm going to go with.
Sorry,
I've got a feeling this is going to be a Desmond. I think this is going to be 2-2.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, same. 2-2.
Desmond.
Right, 2-2. Kaz and Hooks. What are you going
Nah, 3-1 Arsenal, mate. Don't care how bad Arsenal are. 3-1.
for? 3-1 Arsenal, Hooks.
I think 2-0.
Oh, I love Spurs to win though, please. Actually, no.
Spurs win would be incredible.
Nah, I want Arsenal to
What are
win.
you saying, Cass, man? Remember where you are.
Yeah. I want to go above Spurs now, so I can take the piss out of Deji and that. So yeah.
If Spurs win, we go to the lofty heights of 11th. So a win is needed. A win, I know, guys, don't get jealous. Listen, just to end the show off, big up Forest, and it was a great show, brilliant panel. Well done, boys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you, Ant. Big up to Ricky Proctor, who said if such a penalty was given every game, every year for the next 25 years, it wouldn't make up for what Ferguson got refs to do for Man United.
Is that Wolfie's burner account? Must be.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, I ain't got 100, whatever that is to burn, man.
I don't even know what currency that is, but
I don't know.
It's yen or rupees, isn't it? I think.
No, I had no idea.
So it's about 50p.
Big up to you, Ricky Proctor. Thank you very much. Very funny. Mr. Link has said Slot has nightmares about the result. Must win. So I think he's talking about the Nottingham Forest defeat. And Wolfie's going to be like a pig in shit if they win that. And then last but not least, Pitch Prodigy said, I like this Man U fan. He speaks with passion.
Oh.
So ending the show on a compliment.
Hey, it's what your missus says as well.
Pitch, man. If you spoke to him off stream, Pitch, you wouldn't be saying that, bro.
Guys, girls, listen, first of all, please get over to Wolfie at Forest Fan TV and subscribe to them. Please subscribe to at Blue Brother CFC for Charlie. Subscribe to Halftime Hooks for Hooks. Subscribe to Never a Foul for Kaz, and subscribe to Puxty. Liverpool is red 83. Enjoy, everybody. Enjoy tonight's big game, which is Millwall versus Dagenham and Redbridge. And I will see you all next week. And come on, you Spurs. And I just can't have Nottingham Forest winning. Take care, everyone. See you later. And as
See you later, guys. All the best.
Levy out.